Today I will be discussing on the second part of module 2, that is tropical cyclones. So tropical cyclones are generally classified in terms of it is generally a low pressure systems which forms over tropical ocean basins. So these are generally classified according to the minimum central minimum sea level pressure, and also based on the maximum sustained wind speed. So it is a synoptic scale system having a radius of greater than 100 kilometers to thousands kilometers. So they are non-frontal systems, and associated with this tropical cyclones there are well organized convective systems. So based on the wind speed, we generally don't look at this minimum sea level pressure deficit. The pressure deficit is nothing but the central pressure compared to the outside pressure. And based on the wind speed, according to the synoptic chart and all, low pressure system or tropical cyclones have at least 2-3 closed isobars at the mean sea level. So based on the wind speed, the tropical systems, the cyclonic systems are classified as low pressure systems in which the wind speed will be less than 17 knots with a minimum sea level pressure drop of 1 HPA compared to the outer region. So then next higher grade is depression, which is having wind speed of 17 to 27 kilometers. Then comes the deep depression having wind speed in the range of 28 to 33 knots. So then comes the cyclonic storms. So whenever we term a cyclonic system as a cyclonic system and cyclonic storm is different. All these low pressure systems are cyclonic systems, but when we classify the system as cyclonic storms when it maximum sustained wind speed exceeds 34 knots. So that means from 34 knots to 47 knots there are different categories of the storms. So it is known as cyclonic storms. Then 48 to 63 knots it is severe cyclonic, classified as severe cyclonic storms. Then 64 to 190 knots it is classified as very severe cyclonic storms, and greater than 190 knots it is termed as super cyclonic storms. So then now look at other classifications. So if you look at the tropical ocean basins, we have mainly three or four main basins where tropical cyclones are very common. That is Indian Ocean basin, then the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and South Indian Ocean, North and South Indian Ocean. So everywhere these systems are not classified same. So if you look at there is another type of classification exists, which is mainly in tropical Atlantic and Pacific. They classify the systems instead of cyclonic storm, severe cyclonic storm, they classify the systems as category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4 and category 5 storms, where corresponding wind speed you can find in this column. So here the difference is when they classify a category 1 system, the wind speed should exceed 64 knots. But if you look at this classification, we classify a system as a cyclonic storm when wind speed exceeds 34 knots. So that is main difference of this type of different classifications. So now if you look at the system itself, If you look at a satellite image associated with the tropical cyclonic systems, if you have well organized mesoscale convective systems, so, which we have discussed in the previous modules, so this type of organization of the cloud is the pre-genesis period of the cyclonic storms. This we term as tropical disturbance. That means a tropical storm or cyclonic system will develop from a tropical disturbance. So then, if you look at after 1 or 2 days, if you look at the cloud will coming closer and they are started to organize in a circular shape. Correspondingly, there will be pressure drop at the surface and the wind speed may be of the order of 20 to 30 knots. So this structure in a satellite image depicts a typical tropical depression. Then if the storm develop a pure circular shape with a central cloud systems of infrared brightness temperature of less than 80 degrees Celsius. That means these clouds, inside clouds, the wall clouds is going to a very deep, going very deep, and there will be a spiraling shape of cloud clusters develop in the periphery. So this type of systems features in the satellite image is corresponding to a tropical storms of wind speed greater than 34 knots or cyclonic system. So then comes, if you look at a super cyclonic systems where wind speed exceeds, maximum sustained wind speed exceeds something about 120 knots, 190 knots. So they are associated with a kind of eye structure at the center of the system with a very strong spiraling cloud band and a very well organized spiraling cloud band with a eye at the center. So this type of storms are classified as super cyclonic storms based on the satellite imagery. So now these are the main type of classifications in different ocean basins. If you look at Northwest Pacific, the classification is like this. The Pacific, the cyclonic systems are locally known as typhoons, and in North Atlantic it is known as hurricanes. So the classification is like this. Then in the Southwest Pacific and Indian Ocean it is known as tropical, as we classify tropical storms or cyclonic systems. Southwest Indian Ocean also same type of classification, and North Indian Ocean also we classify this system as tropical depression, cyclonic storms, severe cyclonic storms, very severe cyclonic storms, and then the super cyclonic storms. Super cyclonic storms in Atlantic is known as super hurricanes, and Pacific it is known as super typhoons. Now if you look at the global distribution of the cyclonic storms, we can see that for January, February and March, mostly cyclones forms in the southern hemisphere. But in April to June or July, we can see that all tropical, northern tropical ocean basins will produce lot of cyclones. In July to September, we can see more cyclones are forming in the northern hemisphere, in northern Atlantic, northern Pacific, the northwest Pacific, northern Indian Ocean, in Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. Then October, November, December also you can say. So this systems in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea is not classified as cyclonic storms, but they are known as monsoon depressions. That we will discuss in the monsoon class. So if you look at the distribution and general track of the cyclonic storms, so this normally forms in the tropical ocean basins and move in a northwestward direction and after that initially they move in a northwestward direction, and after that if they reach something like cross 20-degree latitude or something, they normally turn rightwards like this. That means it is known as recurving of the cyclonic storm. So this is the general climatological cyclonic distribution if you take the cyclone from 1851 to 2006. So the color scale is according to their intensity: depression, tropical storm, category 1 to 5. So the color, that means if you look at this red color, most of these super typhoons will be forming over western northwest Pacific, and some of them are forming in the northern Atlantic. So this is the previous image, and if you look at the SST distribution, you can find that wherever the SST contours exceeds 27 degrees Celsius, those are the breeding ground for this cyclogenesis, where the cyclones initially forms. That means cyclogenesis mostly happens over this region where SST, the sea surface temperature, is of the order of greater than 27 degree Celsius. That is the fundamental thing regarding tropical cyclones. So if you look at the global distribution of the cyclonic systems, you can find that most of the cyclones, if you consider 100 cyclones are forming in a year, out of this 100, 30 plus cyclones will be forming in the western Pacific, followed by Atlantic, and then eastern Pacific, and then Atlantic, and then southern Indian Ocean. And if you look at the North Indian Ocean is nothing but this domain which consists of Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, and in which we can expect something like 6 to 7% of the global annual cyclonic storms. So that means if you look at the climatological average, you can expect something like 1 to 2 cyclonic storms in Arabian Sea and 4 to 5 cyclonic storms in the Bay of Bengal. So this is the general distribution. If you look at the monthly distribution of cyclonic storms over North Indian Ocean basin, you can there are two prominent seasons in which cyclones form. There is a main season is the post-monsoon season, that is starting from end of September to up to December, where we get most of the cyclones, lot of cyclones, followed by a secondary cyclonic seasons in the pre-monsoon. That is this monsoon just before the monsoon period, March, April, May. So this year we didn't get any system, but I think we are going to get one in May, maybe by the first or second week of May. One system may form in the North Indian Ocean. So this is the general monthly distribution or seasonal distribution of cyclonic storms in the North Indian Ocean. We have mainly two cyclonic seasons. One is in the pre-monsoon and another is in the post-monsoon season. So, and there is no cyclones. Roughly there is less number of cyclones forming in monsoon period. These are kind of monsoon depression, or very rarely this monsoon depression will intensify into cyclonic storms. That is also happened in previous cases, but it is, if you look at long period average, only 3 or 4 times it had happened. So that means compared to this number, it is very less. So that is why during monsoon season cyclonic storms are very rare over. So that is also another dynamics that we will discuss later. So if you take 1991 to 2017, the pre-monsoon and post-monsoon period, these are the general areas where we can expect cyclones based on the classifications. So this color, the cyclogenesis points, according to these are this mark is colored according to their intensity. So you can find that most of the cyclones are mostly forming over Bay of Bengal as compared to Arabian Sea. Now the thing is that after 2017, Arabian Sea is also getting more and more cyclones in this during the recent deserts. So now, if you look at the favorable conditions for the generation of cyclonic storms, there are three fundamental dynamical conditions necessary for the formation of cyclonic storms, and three uh, uh, thermodynamical conditions. So that means there are three dynamical conditions, necessary dynamical condition, and three thermodynamic conditions. The dynamical conditions are nothing but high low level relative vorticity. So the relative vorticity associated with the wind structure should be very high. That's one dynamical criteria. Then we should have significant Coriolis parameter, that is few degrees. That is why mostly if you look at the breeding ground of cyclones, you can see that over the genesis will not happen around the equatorial region. So this is mainly, and it is slightly away from the equator. It is happening away, though SST maximum is found over equator, but genesis, cyclogenesis is not happening over, because that means it is not just about the thermodynamics. The dynamics is also playing a bigger role, in which for the initiation or genesis of the cyclonic storm, there should be some kind of Coriolis parameter is required. That is how the wind turns anti-clockwise if it is in a cyclonic system in the northern hemisphere. So that means there should be significant Coriolis parameters. Then weak vertical shear of horizontal wind. So that means wind speed or direction should not change with height. So that means when we discuss about tornadoes, there we discuss that for the generation of the tornadoes, there is a necessary condition that the tornado will form in a highly sheared and strong conditionally unstable atmosphere. So in this case, shear will limit its formation. So if there is high vertical wind shear, cyclone, it will inversely affect the formation of the cyclones. So then comes to the thermodynamical part. There are three main thermodynamic parts. That means SST should be greater than 26 or 27 degree Celsius through not only at the surface, through a depth up, at least up to the thermocline depth. The SST should be SST, and this heat potential, that means thermal heat potential of the ocean should be maintained to a depth of at least thermocline. So here the thermocline depth also plays a bigger role, and the warm water volume in that from thermocline to the surface is also playing a bigger role. So then that is why the ocean role is also very much important. So that means where this at least SST exceed 26 degree, then only we find the genesis of the cyclonic storms. Then there should be conditionally unstable atmosphere. When we discuss about the CISC process in the previous lectures, we discussed about the CISC mechanism. Here the conditional instability, thermal instability associated with the moisture convergence, that will make the surface low to intensify further, and low intensify, moisture convergence intensifies, and cloud formation increases. Not only latent heat is being liberated, that further heats up the entire column and further reduces. It is a kind of feedback process. That means a conditionally unstable atmosphere is also very much required for the formation of cyclones. And then there should be large relative humidity in the lower to the middle atmosphere. So that means relative humidity should be high. It should not be at the surface. There should be a large humidity should be present from the middle to lower to middle atmosphere. So that is also very much important, because if there is not much humidity, whichever clouds forms, it will evaporate or dissipate very fast. So that means these are the dynamical and thermodynamical conditions favorable or necessary for the development of a cyclonic storms. So these is first put forward by famous scientist known as Gray. So these are known as Gray parameters. So he is in maybe in 1970s. He come up with these ideas. Not 1960 or 70. I am not remembering the date. 1975, yes, 1975 and 77. He proposed this mechanism for the formation of cyclonic systems. So these are the fundamental necessary but not sufficient. The combination of all these parameters are very much important for the generation of cyclonic systems. So that means here the vertical wind shear is the only parameter which is affecting against the formation. That means we need a atmosphere with less vertical wind shear. So these are regarding the general introduction of how tropical cyclones are being classified in different basins according to their wind speed, different categories of the cyclonic systems, and the distribution of the cyclonistic storms around the world, and then the necessary conditions for the formation of cyclonic storms. So we will continue further in the next lecture.